And this is the Black Views, bringing you the Black News. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Once again today, this is B-Jax, and today our subject is Larry Elder. Once again, we have another person today we're going to talk about today who had an opportunity to speak before the HR 40, research committee here, and this is another gentleman. Ultimately, I think Larry Elder has to be the king of the suck butts. Okay, he is the ultimate bootlick, shoe shine, butter biscuit eater, all that, brother. All right now, that's alive. He is head of the bootlicks. All right. This is a brother. I'm not going to talk too much about what he said right now because I want you to hear what he said. But then I'm going to come back at the conclusion, of course, with my words and my reactions. But first, I have a few things I want to say. We have men that have grown scared all their lives. All they ever wanted to do was be part of something, to the point that they will kick their own brothers down. Larry Elder is the type of guy that is embarrassed of black people. When the first thing he comes out and he talks about is black people be overcomers. Not about what our rights are. Not about what we're legally owed. Not about a debt being paid. He talks about black people being overcomers, basically saying that through all the hell and all the things that we have gone through, don't ask for any rights, don't ask for any policies to fix the situation, and don't ask for any debt to be paid. Just do your best and just continue to take the beatings and get spat upon and but don't worry about that. Because, just keep going. It's not about race. And so, see, he has his own radio show. It was a national syndication. And so, in order to keep this radio show, he has to keep it square. He can't say anything about what black people are owed or the wrong that's done to black people. The only thing that he can keep saying is chastising black people. Okay, not taking advantage of opportunities. We're not struggling enough. And even when he talks about his own life, he talks about his father, what his father went through, and what his father put him through. I'm pretty sure this is a 68-year-old man. So his father, we're talking about the 30s and the 40s. Okay, so this is different. And then he says, based on the problems that come into his life, they'll be able to tell whether he raised a man or not. Well, it's very obvious that men are not being raised today in black families, in black homes. This is a total different situation. Once again, like I said yesterday, when you have people that go before the national public and they condemn, they put things down and they say no, but they have no other alternative for you, that tells you they hate you. See, he enjoys being able to wear a suit and walk around with privilege. And he went to Brown University. He has the great credentials. See, these are the things that he holds with his pride. And as long as a black man, he has that, he feels accepted into this white world. But to hell with the black youth that are in the street, having all types of different multitude of issues. But he only talks about the opportunities that you're not taking advantage of. So let's go ahead and play that video here, and then I'll come back and we'll get busy, baby.
Let me now move to our next witness is Mr. Elder. Mr. Elder is a conservative attorney, author, and host of the nationally syndicated radio program, The Larry Elder Show. He also writes a nationally syndicated column and produces videos for his YouTube channel in association with the Epoch Times. Mr. Elder received his JD from the University of Michigan and his BA from Brown University. Mr. Elder, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Congresswoman Lee, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. I am the executive producer of a documentary that came out June 19 last year called Uncle Tom, An Oral History of the Black Conservative. And as Congresswoman Lee pointed out, Black people are a race of overcomers. And it talks about the fact that despite all the problems that have been brought up in this committee about racism, about slavery, about Jim Crow, Black people have overcome to the point now where only 20% of Black people are below the federally defined level of poverty. Still too high, but in 1940, that number was 87%. And 20 years later, that number had been reduced to 47%, a 40-point drop in 20 years. That is the greatest 20-year period of economic expansion for the history of Black Americans. And notably, they came before the Brown versus Board of Education decision. They came before the Civil Rights Bills of 1964, 1965. Despite all of this racism, all of this prejudice, Black people still overcame. I also find it ironic we're having this hearing 13 years after we elected and then re-elected the first Black president of the United States. I'm old school. I still get the newspapers thrown to my house. And the day that Obama got elected, I got the New York Times and the LA Times thrown to my home. And on the front pages of both newspapers, there were colored pictures of Black parents hugging their kids, crying, saying things like, "Now I can say for the first time truly that if you work hard, you can be anything you want to be." In 1997, Time Magazine and CNN did a broad survey of Black teens and white teens and asked both of them whether or not racism was a major problem in America. And both of them said yes, not too surprisingly. But then Black teens were asked the following question: is racism a big problem, a small problem, or no problem in your own daily life? 89% of Black teens in 1997 said racism was a small problem or no problem in my own daily life. In fact, twice as many Black teens as white teens said failure to take advantage of available opportunities is a bigger problem than racism. End of quote. And that again was 23 years ago before Obama got elected, let alone re-elected. Speaking of Obama, 2007, he ran for presidency. His rival for the Democratic side was Hillary Clinton. And on the Republican side, the two rivals, primary rivals, were John McCain and Mitt Romney. Gallup asked whether or not Americans would not vote for a Black person, referring to Obama, would not vote for a woman, referring to Hillary Clinton, would not vote for a Mormon, referring to Mitt Romney, would not vote for a person as old as John McCain would be, 72 years old. And what Gallup found is 5% of Americans said they would not under any circumstances vote for a Black person. 11% said they would not under any circumstances vote for a female. 24% said they would not vote for a Mormon. 42% said they would not vote for a person who would be 72 years old when he became president, which would have been the case had John McCain been elected. In other words, Obama as a Black person had a smaller barrier than these three white politicians. So having this conversation right now when racism has never been a less significant problem in America, to me is mind-boggling. Right now, Congress is 12% Black, which is roughly the percentage of Blacks in America. In 1964, Martin Luther King gave an interview to the BBC. And he said he was surprised at the changes that have taken place in America in recent years. And he believed that a Black person could become president in 40 years' time, or maybe even less. That's roughly around the time when Obama became president. And Martin Luther King did not say, "We will know when we've arrived at the promised land when there's a Black coach of Notre Dame," which has happened, when there is a Black female who's the president of an Ivy League university, which has happened, when Blacks are mayors of all the major cities in America, which has happened, when Blacks are police chiefs of the major cities in America, when there are superintendents of schools of America or mayors of America, sometimes all three at the same time. He did not say that. He did not say when Black people become millionaires and billionaires, which has happened. He did not say when Black people become CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. He said when a Black person becomes president, that's when we'll know we've reached a point where people are being evaluated based on the content of their character to the extent that it is reasonable to expect. And the idea that slavery built America is belied by the fact that at one time, Virginia was the most populous and wealthiest state in the Union. But within a couple of generations, it had fallen behind states in the North because the South depended upon slavery, which impoverished the South relative to the North, which is primarily why the North won the election. No one could have had, or very few people could have had a life harder than my father. My father was 13 years old, born in 1915. He was kicked out of his house by his mother. Athens, Georgia, Jim Crow, at the beginning of the Great Depression. The man walked down the street, did whatever he could. Ultimately, he became a Pullman porter on the trains, which was the largest private employer of blacks in those days. Traveled all over the world, became a Marine, was one of the first black Marines, a Montford Port Marine. And my dad always told my brothers and me the following: hard work wins. You get out of life what you put into it. You cannot control the outcome, but you are 100% in control of the effort. And before you complain about what other people did to you, go to the nearest mirror and say to yourself, what could I have done to change the outcome? And my dad always told us this: no matter how hard you work, no matter how good you are, sooner or later bad things will happen to you. How you respond to those bad things will tell your mother and me if we raised a man. And my father always said this about the Democrat Party: they want to give you something for nothing. And when you're trying to get something for nothing, you almost always end up getting nothing for something. Thank you very much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Attorney Elder, thank you so very much for your presentation today. Mr. Howard.
All right, so you heard Mr. Elder. You know, once again, like I say, you know, when they reach out to African Americans or foundational black leaders to testify, this is what they get. I mean, this is who we get right here. And then his case is like so weak. You know, well, Obama. So since Obama was president, now, yeah, let's forget about reparations. They don't need it because Obama was the president. Like, listen to this. Then he talks about how, you know, teenagers in 1997 were they said that race relations were okay. Then he says something about basically is racism a bigger problem in your house? Like how would teenagers know that when these things are strategically happening, systematically happening around them? Do you see how like their case falls apart when you get these experts to get up here and say why black people should not get reparations? You know, then he goes and says Democrats now. So obviously, so now he's saying all foundational black Americans are Democrats. And so they want to give you something for nothing. What do you mean something for nothing? The case is slavery, Jim Crow, fear, all the things that were put into our ancestors, okay? Our elders, aunts and uncles, all the way from the 10s, 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, to the 60s. Even if you wanted to stop at the 80s and shit, which is not true because it still goes on. Okay, predatory lending. Okay, racial profiling. I mean, these things are still happening. These people that they pay to come forward totally act as if they are not in touch with reality. And then people are respecting these individuals because of their credentials. He went to Brown University, so that means he's very smart and articulate, and he has his own national radio show. So he must be saying something that's truthful. Oh my God! And these are the people they'll pick to say are our leaders. Okay, listen to the black leadership. What kind of leader is simply sitting there saying that, oh, don't give these niggas nothing? Not even looking at the history, not even righteously making a decision to say what is fair and what is not fair. Just say no. I got it. And once again, they always pick someone that's living a good life to testify. Totally contradicts the whole method of having black people testify as to should we or should we not give reparation. Why would you ask a rich white black person that wants to kiss ass at that? See, so the logic is taken out of this. And once again, for the youth, for the youth, you have to see the difference. See, all of these are dog and pony shows for non-black people. So it's almost like this is a house. People are looking in from outside, and so as they're looking, this is who they see. Once again, like Herschel Walker. Why, look at him. He went to Brown University. He's educated, well groomed. He has a national. He must know what black people need. He made it, and he's sitting there saying, "Don't give these niggas shit. Don't give these niggas a goddamn thing. We good over here. They just underachievers." My father, he had to go around find a job, and he became a Marine. My father became a Marine too. What does that mean? They were killing Marines after they came back from the war. So I mean, intimidation. This is why there should be reparation. You have business owners who were lynched. So you had other black people who were afraid to start businesses because they were afraid to be lynched. I mean, listen. I don't have great degrees, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist. There are about 1,000 media, videos, papers, documentations, books, novels that explain to you what happened during these times. So I can sit here and talk till I'm blue in the face, but there more than enough information and evidence in the library that will explain to you all the things that happen to black people. Why the hell do we have to listen to Larry Elder tell his side of the fucked up situation? And we're still asking, all this evidence, all these documentaries, and Emmett Till. We can go on with the names of black people that have died, shot in the back. And we can go on and on and on. And guess what? You'll still have people like Larry Elder that will sit there and say black people don't need reparation. Because he is another Decepticon. He is another black, white supremacist. And they're all coming out. And see, they're coming out to stop some shit for you. Do you see what I'm saying? They're not coming out for nothing else. These people, you don't hear these people out for anything else. But whenever it's, the question is, all right, should reparations for black people, foundational black Americans, here come all the Autobots and the motherfucking Decepticons and shit. They're going to change before your face and say, no, they just need to try harder. They're not trying. What the fuck does he know? And once again, here go the hating ass shit again. Why would you want to stop some shit that's for other black people if you don't want it because you live in a mansion? As you can see, once again, look where he's giving his testimony from. His library. Niggas don't have libraries. But he's the first one up there to say, y'all don't need shit. Y'all not taking advantage of your opportunities. Don't worry about crack, heroin, all the things that are affecting your neighborhood, okay? Because your neighborhood affects you. If your mama on crack, that affects whether or not you're going to take advantage of opportunities. If your mama on heroin, that's going to affect whether or not you can take advantage of opportunities. So don't listen to this bullshit. These people will have you believe that it's your motherfucking fault, okay? Listen. From the time that you left the motherfucking plantation, you were a host for white supremacy. Now, I'm sorry, white supremacists were host to you. And this is where we are today. Okay? We ain't learned nothing else from nobody else but from these white supremacists. We learn how to smoke. We learn how to speak English. We learn every motherfucking thing from them. So this is where we at right now. Give us the reparations and stop the bullshit. But once again, we have our own people. And guess what, man? Listen, I'm going to leave it at that. But once again, let's go ahead and like, subscribe. Please support my platform. support Black views. I ain't asking for nothing but subscriptions and likes. That's it. Okay? So I appreciate you. Thank you. I know it's more I could have said, but like I said, these sometimes I be so like upset when I'm ready to speak that it's like I have to get off. So thank you and have a good day.